Coming up on Wake Up NonStop Local, breaking news. A deadly shooting on Spokane's South Hill. 2 people dead, 1 person in the hospital. We're live near the scene. Coming up.
Also this morning, crime spree. A man arrested twice in the same night after smashing this window at a local Dutch Bros, then being released, then committing another crime. Why he was released in the first place. Coming up.
And a first look at your weather forecast. Beautiful start to the day today, but because of gusty winds this afternoon, I am tracking some fall fire danger. What you need to be prepared for ahead.
Fly ball to right field, number 60!
And the MVP case has just been punctuated with a hit. That's Cal Raleigh, a big home run. The Mariners making history.
The big-time performance that helped the Mariners win the West. All coming up right now on Wake Up NonStop Local.
Wake up, you gotta rise to the sun. And here it comes, it's time to make the best of what you got to give. It's all about rising, and I wanna be there.
We start this morning with breaking news. This is the scene from an overnight shooting on the South Hill that left 2 people dead and 1 in life-threatening condition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kalai Chalk.
And I'm Sam Adams. We've been bringing this to you as breaking news throughout the morning and overnight. Our crews were there this morning, that scene being cleared just several hours ago. NonStop Local's Noah Bolter live from the scene on the South Hill.
Sam, Kalai, the scene is clear now, but earlier this morning we watched as police had a parked car in front of this house towed away into evidence. That was just a few hours ago, and the Spokane Police Department says all 3 men involved were shot. The 1 man who survived the shooting at last update is still in the hospital in critical condition. SPD says they got that initial call around 8:45 last night, and they believe all 3 men involved knew each other. SPD says they are not looking for anyone right now because everyone involved is accounted for. This morning, forensics and major crimes reconstructed the scene, looked for camera footage and any additional evidence. As for the identity of the 3 men involved, SPD still says it's too early to share. They also say it's too early to clarify how many guns were involved with this incident. An overnight public information officer says he still does not know if next of kin have been notified, so we are being very careful not to show the home address. But to be clear, right now we don't know if the 2 men who died lived there or not. Sam, Clay, that's the latest information. We'll check in again in Morning Rush. Live in Spokane, Noah Bolter, NonStop Local.
Right now, 6:32 here on a Thursday morning. It's time to get a first look at your weather forecast, and we are off to a beautiful start here throughout the inland Northwest. Our current temperatures that we're waking up to, we are in the low to mid 50s across both Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. As we take a look towards central Washington, 50 degrees for Moses Lake, 55 for Brewster, 60 for Vantage, and we are trending cooler up towards some of our northern valleys, 38 degrees right now for Deer Park. However, what I am also tracking are still above average temperatures, dry conditions, and because of the passage of a dry cold front for the day today, elevated winds leading to critical fire weather conditions. So we're dealing with red flag warnings here throughout the region. Yes, it's the fall season, but we're talking fire danger. So be prepared for that. We could see rapid fire spread possible. We also have wind advisories for the Kittitas Valley and even could see the potential of blowing dust on your afternoon commute. The full breakdown of what you need to know and be prepared for in 10 minutes.
Our criminal investigation was thorough. It was complete. We were ready to go to court if that was needed. As for the search effort, I would challenge anyone to go out there, check out the terrain we are searching. We went above and beyond for what we're supposed to do in addition to tracking down leads.
Well, there are conflicting reports over the human remains believed to belong to Travis Decker, the man accused of killing his 3 young daughters near Leavenworth. U.S. Marshal Service and federal prosecutors are declaring him dead and asking that the arrest warrant be dropped.
However, as you just heard right there, the Chelan County Sheriff says they are now still waiting on DNA evidence to confirm that. It's creating some confusion right now, even leading the county coroner to send out a mass response because of questions they're receiving about this case. Wayne Harris with the Chelan County Coroner's Office sharing in part, quote, "We must rely on scientific methods to establish positive identification. Those methods include DNA, fingerprints, dental or skeletal radiographs, or visual identification."
He goes on to say the Washington State Patrol Crime Lab is going to expedite the testing of a sample of the bones to establish a positive DNA match. When that occurs, the sheriff's office will follow up with any media notifications. Sheriff also addressed the confusion during a press conference.
We understand that's their administrative process, and it wasn't something that was supposed to go public. Of course, public disclosure, that's the joy of being in that public entity, went out, and then I think a lot of people just assumed that we had come up to the same confirmation. We're still waiting for Washington State Patrol's crime lab to come back with those DNA results.
Last Thursday, a drone spotted a shirt less than a mile from the original crime scene at Rock Island Campground. Ground units were then sent in and found human remains and other items believed to have been Decker's.
Sheriff's Office wanting to use an abundance of caution before declaring Decker dead to totally rule out any other theories. The Sheriff's Office and the coroner also noting that the cause of death and the time of death likely will not be immediately known, but they're optimistic they'll be able to confirm whether or not these remains are in fact Decker's within the coming days. Continuing coverage on the off-duty Washington State Patrol trooper accused of driving under the influence and then fatally hitting a man on his motorcycle.
A pretrial hearing for Washington State Trooper Sarah Clausen is now scheduled for November. She's accused of vehicular homicide and DUI in a crash that happened March 1st when 20-year-old Josuar Sanchez was hit and killed while on his motorcycle. Following her first appearance yesterday, she was released on her own recognizance. It took half a year for the charges to be filed.
Clausen's attorney requesting the vehicles and blood work involved in the case be transferred to the defense so they can conduct their own analysis. Now, the victim's family, meantime, also in the courtroom saying they hope justice will be served.
We hope they'll be fair, that she gets what she deserves, that she gets a fair sentence,
que tenga una buena condena.
that she doesn't get privileges for being state patrol, that she's tried like any other civilian.
We've reached out to Clausen's attorney for comment on the case, but haven't heard back.
After that pre-trial in November, a trial date has been set for December 15th. In a crime tracker alert, an erratic suspect armed with his 2-foot-long knife being arrested in Spokane Valley for this incident Monday. Deputies safely detaining 46-year-old Tony Gust after breaking into that drive-through window. Now, he was released, though, minutes later because of overcrowding in the jail.
And then, less than 4 hours later, he was arrested again, this time for burglary, arson, and $6,500 worth of property damage downtown. This is his 9th arrest this year. And we did just check the Spokane County jail roster. He is there this morning, being held on $36,500 bond.
Now to a story we brought you as breaking news here yesterday morning. The Department of Homeland Security now says it is investigating that deadly shooting at a Dallas ICE facility as a targeted act of violence. They're now boosting security at ICE facilities across the U.S.
Now, these are some pictures from the scene. The Department of Homeland Security says that the shell casings from the bullets were found with anti-ICE messages, and they say that this was an attack on law enforcement. The shooter has been identified as 29-year-old Joshua John, firing at the ICE facility from a nearby rooftop, according to investigators, shooting 3 detainees who were inside a van, killing 1 and injuring 2, and then killing himself.
The other 2 are in critical condition right now this morning. Officials giving little information otherwise about a possible motive. Meantime, Vice President J.D. Vance blaming inflammatory rhetoric from Democratic leaders and the media for the shooting.
An Immigrations and Customs Enforcement facility was opened fire upon by a violent left-wing extremist, a person who wrote anti-ICE messaging on their bullets, and there's some evidence that we have that's not yet public, but we know this person was politically motivated.
The shooting, at least the 4th instance of violence or threat at an ICE or Customs and Border Protection facility in Texas this year. That includes a bomb threat at this same facility just last month. The first federal lawsuit over that deadly air collision in January between and near Washington, D.C. has now been filed. The mid-air collision between an American Airlines regional jet and an Army Black Hawk helicopter over the Potomac killed 67 people that day.
The lawsuit was filed by Rachel Crafton. Her husband was a passenger who was killed. He was on the American flight. The family's attorney says that crash never should have happened.
The crash of American Eagle 5342 was predictable, it was preventable, and caused the needless loss of 67 lives on that fateful evening. In the lawsuit today, the first named defendant is American Airlines, operating as a regional carrier with PSA, along with the United States of America.
Now, in a statement, the American Airlines says that the military is to blame for the tragedy because the helicopter was flying above the allowed altitude. The National Transportation Safety Board is still investigating. A final report is expected early next year. Well, this just in, Starbucks says it's going to close 434 stores this month. The Starbucks CEO says it's closing locations with subpar customer service and poor performance.
And according to Fox 13 in Seattle and other affiliates in Seattle, the Starbucks Reserve Roastery in Capitol Hill, considered a flagship of Starbucks, now closing as a result of the announcement. They posted this letter to customers and employees there. Starbucks, citing concerns about public safety, deciding to ultimately close that location, we understand, permanently.
And this comes after a round of union protests Monday where workers were asking for better pay and hours. Right now, it's unknown how many employees will be impacted. All right, it is 6:40. Still to come here on Wake Up NonStop Local. The Guinness World Record Book is bringing in a whole host of new records for their 2026 edition.
All right, we're going hog wild over some of these record breakers. Some would say they're even bananas. We've got that coming up.
Plus, we'll get a full look at your weather forecast here. I am tracking elevated risk of fire danger as widespread red flag warnings are in place. How you can be prepared when we come back.
Okay, but first, baklava's on the menu right now at Greek Fest, and it starts today. A live look from inside the kitchen where they're getting ready to serve you this morning. It's a celebration of Greek culture. It takes place at the Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Church right here in Spokane.
I'm getting hungry. This looks delicious. Everybody's invited. It starts today. There's food, music, dancing, and fun for the whole family. The event runs through Saturday.